All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, weighing in at infinity. Infinity. The brother's soul is infinity. He can't be weighed on a scale. One of the greatest of all times, a living legend, the godfather of the conscious community. What a way to end 2024. None other than Doc the Phil Valentine.
You screaming into an echo chamber, brother. Ain't nobody there.
Oh man. Oh man. Well, hey Doc, welcome back, Doc. Welcome back.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Good to be here. Good to be here.
It's great to end.
Congratulations to you.
Thank
By
you
the way,
so much. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
being father once again.
I
Great.
definitely appreciate it, Doc. What a way to end the year. Have you on here. I'm gonna tell you, Doc. Also, before we get started, we're gonna get into it today, but I have a link pinned at the top of the chat. We almost got 1,000 people. I'm waiting till more people coming to really talk about it. But we got a link pinned at the top. You could click on that. Doc got one of them classic webinars coming up that you don't want to miss. So make sure y'all click on that. Get your ticket early. But I'm gonna tell you like this, Doc. I can't keep up with what's going on. I was just on the line. I was just on the show yesterday with Billy, and I told him I put my head down. I had my daughter put my head down. I look up. There's drones over here, aliens over there, people arguing over here. This one arguing over here. I mean, shit just going on all over the place, Doc.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency exploding over here. I'm like, what the? I can't keep up, Doc. So
Yeah.
I know you got a lot to say. We're gonna touch on it a little bit tonight, but I know the 7, 6, 7, 8 hour webinars in January. But dog, man, what the hell is going on, man? It's good to have you. Look forward to this conversation. Doc.
Good, thanks. Good, brother. So good.
Let's start. Hey, Doc, let's start out with the drones. Is this Project Bluebeam? What's going on with the drones, Doc?
Distractions. What they're doing is they're actually seeding the air. Most people have to be very careful because they're preconditioning the people for what's to come of the so-called avian or bird flu. So there's a preconditioning going on in the air to make people more susceptible. That's one of them. Also, the drones are on a practice run because a lot of them have been sophisticatedly uploaded with techniques to be able to knock out electrical lines. In other words, they have the ability to deal with pulses, electromagnetic pulses, and they could select areas where instead of just wiping out certain parts of like the entire seaboard, they would be able to target certain areas where they can actually knock out the electrical grid and knock out maybe cars, even military installations. But the military today have become pretty sophisticated at being able to cloak their weaponry and tanks and different armaments so that they're not susceptible to it, which is why I recommend people get themselves a Faraday cage or a Faraday pouch so that they can actually communicate or at least protect their instruments. The other thing about Project Bluebeam is a lot of people is thinking we got aliens coming from outer space. There's no outer space. I can't get that through to people because we're still into the Star Trek, Star Wars mentality, and it doesn't exist. We do have abilities to use stargates to be able to vibrate through different consistencies, what we call material consistencies. One of the biggest stargates is the sun. The sun is not a raging ball of flames that you see. The animation that you're looking at is not the true sun. That's the one that NASA is giving to you. If you look back in the day, I don't know if you've seen some of my earlier ones. I was telling everybody that the sun is actually one of the stargates. It's a stargate, and that at certain times of the year, like on the 29th of June or July, If you were to actually take a photograph, or at least aim your periscope at the sun, if you can filter it, you would see these ships coming in and out of the sun. And the sun is not that large. It's not 92 million miles away. It's about maybe 6,000 miles away, 5,000 miles away. It's not that far away, even less. And you can tell it's not really 92,000 miles away because of the arc that you see as the sun beams through the clouds. The only way that you would get an arc that sharp is if the sun was close to you. If it was 93 million miles away, it would be more. The light would be more diffused. But the light isn't diffused. When you look at it through the clouds, you see it coming down almost like the square and compass, where essentially the masons get that. When you get that compass, you see the circle and then the line. That's the sun. It's representative of the sun, and what is raised, it's raised showing down on you. Same thing with the eye, to show you with masonry. But yeah, the drones. In my lecture, if you remember, the first time they saw the drones were in New Jersey. Well, what they're doing is they're just following on a script that Orson Welles did, because when he did his radio broadcast, he was the one who actually pointed out that New Jersey was under attack from aliens, and that's when
Hmm.
they got crazy. So they're actually following on a script. You have to know the history. You have to, I guess, lived as long as I have to know all the different nonsense, all the games that they play. But NASA and the New World Order, I call it, not order, but the New World stench is actually ramping up. And this is why I called my webinar Countdown 2030. These are the next 5 years. Over the next 5 years, you're going to see some adjustments that we're going to have to be prepared for, very much prepared for, which is why I'm telling people to go ahead and get their water and food, weapons, and just get ready to hunker down because there is going to be a shutdown sometime. But be careful of the food. Your boy Gates is tampering with the food. Uh, you're going to see a lot of my lecture in there is going to show you how the food is being messed with. So everything, make sure that your wife, especially now that she's nursing, that she's taking in the proper nutrition. Stay away from all of the chicken and fowl at this point. No chicken, no turkey, no quail, duck. Stay away from all of those meats if you are taking in any of those.
Yeah. Like I said, so much stuff going on, Doc. One of the other things, let me come back on the stream. One of the other things that we've been hearing about is the word parallel universes is all over the place now. They're saying that they have a quantum chip. Google has a quantum chip called what's the name, y'all? Willow. Yeah, Willow. Let me read this for let me put this on the screen real quick. Willow.
Mhm.
Let me show you, Doc. Hmm,
They renamed it.
Google. Give me a second. All right. Let me put this on the screen real quick, yo, because this is important. There's nobody that I would love to hear this from more than Dr. Valentine. Because we talk about technology a lot, Doc, and where's this headed? And right here it says Google's quantum chip sparks debate on multiverse theory.
Yeah.
Let me, and it says, wait, I don't know what's wrong with this computer.
Mhm.
Okay, Google's quantum chip Willow solved a computational problem in under 5 minutes, sparking debates about its implications for the multiverse theory. Let me see that. I'm trying to. Oh boy.
Yeah, I think I've seen this
Okay,
already.
okay, yeah, okay. So, according to Google, Willow solved the computational problem in under 5 minutes, a task that would have taken the world's fastest supercomputer approximately 10 septillion years.
Hmm.
So they did in 5 minutes what they're claiming would take 10 septillion years. I don't even know how many zeros that is. This staggering feat announced in a blog. demonstrates the extraordinary potential of quantum computing to tackle problems once thought unsolvable within a human time frame. And I'm gonna end it there. I just want the they're saying that it's getting its information from the multiverse, and that's how it's able to get all of this information, Doc. What the
Well,
hell is going on?
no, I think you know what
Yeah,
the funny thing about quantum science is
yeah.
it's nothing. Quantum physics is metaphysics.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what they're talking about, you have to just decode their language. And that's what they do. They couch metaphysics in a private language that they develop amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
When they start talking about this, you have to understand that when people want to impress you, they create a problem that they only can solve. Let me say that again.
Mm. Interesting.
You're being impressed by people who essentially tell you this is the problem and we've solved it. It's all BS. First of all, you are the quantum computer.
Mm.
They want you to believe that the quantum computer that they're creating, because they are deficient in their own pineal glands, and they're trying to activate it, doing the best they can, they are essentially using the so-called quantum computer as their pineal.
Wow.
We are being shut down. Notice why they're actually attacking the food. It's necessary to dysfunction your computer so that they can use the computer to control you. But once you become spiritually involved and evolved, I don't give a damn what the quantum computer is. They're still using human engrams to actually move that computer. They're not telling you what that computer is actually made of. It's made of human engrams.
What's the engram, Doc?
Well, they take human biology and they take the cellular structure
Mm-hmm.
and they take the DNA. And what they do is they find out what it is that they can do by, if in other words, a certain part of the brain that is activated, okay, by
Mm-hmm.
an electrical signal or electrical pulse. They imitate what a thought pulse would be because they've studied your thoughts. And they have actually taken imprints of what thoughts would actually look like with a sigil. In other words, if I'm thinking a certain thought about certain things, a food, sex, whatever, there is a signature in the brain that can be mapped and quantified. And so once you have learned what part of the brain does the quantifying process, what you can do then is use that particular signature in your computer with parts of it being biological. In other words, it's biological. They take pieces of brain matter. They probably got Einstein's cooking, or even Planck, or
Right.
one of them. They're taking the DNAs and they're mapping them. This is what humanism is about. It's about blending you together with a computer and telling you that you are enhancing your humanity and somehow humanity is evolving with this artificial material. So what they're doing is they're taking parts of the human intelligence apparatus and they're putting it into the artificial intelligence apparatus. And because the human has that spiritual connection to eternity and infinity, which the computer doesn't, it is the human engrams that's actually accessing that, which tells you you can do that.
Mm.
And they're playing off like they're God. They're, my boy, I think it was Gil Scott said, I think it was Gil Scott said that the white man got a God complex.
Mm.
And because he does not have what the native Hindu and the Manamatapan peoples and call empires, the ancient black people had a direct connection to source. These people don't. They need that interaction between that. This is what I was speaking about years ago when you learn about this circle of people called the courtium. And you learn about these entities, this spiritual entity that has now become so proficient that artificial intelligence has become an individuated intelligence, and they call themselves the animus. And these animists have been seducing humanity through technology, the spirit. And I think it was Robert Monroe has been trying to warn people about that. And he spoke about the fact that once you begin to make a computer intelligent, there is an energy almost like a spiritual doppelganger that is created in the ethers. And then that particular thing begins to crave more information, which is what they're doing to us. They can't access source, and source is God. Source is what we are a direct connection to. They can't do that. So they need an intercessor. They need an Ochimi, as the Ghanaians speak about, to speak for them. And so you, humanity, when you patch on with your this, that, and with what your boy Musk wants to stick on your brain, you're giving them access to source, which they don't have. So I don't care how sophisticated their computers get, they'll never be human. They'll have to come together with humans, and the engrams and the materials that are part of the intelligence apparatus of humanity, the God particle, the God matrix, the God sigil. We are connected. In fact, time and thought is because of we existing. Thought and time are the same. Without thought, time doesn't exist. Without time, thought doesn't exist. So they've learned now that they can access the time portals by going into the records that are in the atmosphere. They call it the Akashic records.
Right.
So don't get, everybody's all hyped up over this European telling you all the stuff that he can do. Yet still, when he told you he went to the moon, he bullshitted you, and you found out now later on he ain't all that. Stop getting caught up in that. Listen to what they have to say, and then use what they have been saying and bring it back down to where you know your power lies, and that is in your heart and in your mind. That's what you are. You are stronger than they are. You are greater than they are. It's just that you do not have the access and the capability. They always got you worrying. They always got you thinking that, I'm going to die tomorrow, or look about disease is coming, and everything that gets you all, frantic, instead of thinking about your development spiritually. You always are worried about something, the rent, your partner leaving you, your job, everything to distract you. So be mindful that whenever they tell you they got something going on, like they're going to Mars, that's bullshit. There's nobody going to Mars. Mars is in a Devon Island up in Canada. That's Mars. All of the different things they show you, we are in a matrix. It's all bullshit. Don't play it. You are everything. That's why I tell everybody, wait till you see what I do on the 19th. I'm just going to pull the rug and the veil off of everything. It's not what you think. The whole reality we're dealing with is not what you think it is.
Doc, I remember C. Freeman L talking about Mars, saying there was a Mars, and I remember Elijah Muhammad he made a speech in 72 talking about the people on Mars.
Yeah.
I've always heard a lot of the speakers mention Mars and mention Black people's connection with Mars. So if there is no Mars, who are all these? What is all these speakers talking about? Because they all talk about Mars.
Yeah, they're not talking about Mars up in outer space. They're talking about Mars that was beyond the Antarctic. They have places called Jupiter and Mars amongst the Antarctic. There are places that have been they locked us in. Let's just say that. They locked us in with the ice ring. Beyond the ice ring, there are lands that go on forever.
Right.
And everything you see with different names and so forth, with great kings. I mean, even Peary put a map up of Antarctica and had said that they were negotiating with a king there.
Who's they, Doc? Are these some fourth? Who's responsible for
Moors. The Moors.
The Moors.
Yeah, Peary was a Moor. And he put up a map of Antarctica with lands, with villages, with castles. The European does not want you to go. Why do you think they have like 29 or maybe not even more now nations that signed off and said, ain't nobody going up to Antarctica? Why? That's the last place everybody want to go because you'll find out it ain't. You'll find out in my lecture that it ain't a piece of ice sitting at the bottom of a spinning water ball. We ain't going nowhere. Nobody's spinning. The world is not spinning. We're not going around the sun. The sun's going around us. Everything is backwards. And I'll prove it on the 19th.
I want to show you something real quick, Doc. All right,
Sure.
this is on.
Like I said, when you see Mars, you're going to see that Mars is actually a place that's like America. It's like, but it's beyond the dome. It's
This
outside
is
of the dome.
this high level shelter 19 keys, high level conversations Instagram page. No, not this. The wrong one. Hold up.
Yeah.
Where's that? Hold up. Okay, here we go. Now it says NASA found a parallel universe in Antarctica where time flows backwards. Deep beneath the frozen landscapes of Antarctica lies an enduring mystery that's captivated scientists and theorists alike. From NASA's detection of strange high-energy particles rising through the Earth to ancient maps depicting an ice-free Antarctica, the region has fueled speculation about an alternate reality or even remnants of an alien civilization. And I guess I'll end it there, but is this
Like
an alignment? Is this in alignment with what you're
I'm on
referring to?
alignment, yeah. And in the North Pole, you have a gigantic cyclotron. Did you ever see that movie with what's his name with Johnny Depp when he played a pirate?
What Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pirates of the Caribbean. Did you ever
Yeah.
see the one when they at World's End? Did you see that one?
I didn't see that one. No.
When they were in a whirlpool and they were going around in this gigantic whirlpool and they were shooting and fighting at one another.
Okay.
Well, that's what's up at the North Pole. They gave you a little hint of what's going down up in the North Pole. They're not telling you what's going on. Ships, they have records now of ships disappearing inside of a maelstrom in the North Pole. The world is not what everybody thinks it is. It's what it is that they've been told. It's like what Morpheus said. It's the world that they pulled over your eyes in order to fool you. There is nothing in the books that they've been teaching us, beloved, nothing in the books that they've been giving us in your catechisms, in your Bible, in everything. All of it's been interpreted by this European. He has to in order to be able to keep control. If we were to find out who really built A, B, and a third, who would really remember how many times I was saying to you that the real Stone Age is not with a Neanderthal white man dragging his woman by the hair into a cave, or it isn't by somebody chipping away with the wheel, making the wheel like the Flintstones. No, the real Stone Age is all this technology you see in stone, like the Great Pyramids, and everything that you see being built in stone that actually were by using the electromagnetic frequencies of the earth in order to erect these gigantic monoliths that none of the little cranes that they have today can actually operate with.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that you're seeing, they have to keep us fascinated. NASA is Disney, and it has to keep people fascinated, making us believe that we have all these things to look forward to. Meanwhile, you're stressing out over just paying the rent. They're telling you this is what your children can actually be ready to adopt. Here's what you're going to have. Here's what you're going to deal. No, you're not going to deal with that. They'll come up with something else to keep you distracted. You're not going to the moon or the Mars or the Venus and all of those things they show you with these satellites. Ain't no such thing as satellites. If there was such a thing as satellites, why is it that the Chinese satellite that was supposedly flying over the United States had a balloon attached to it?
So you telling me Elon Musk don't have no satellites up there?
There ain't no satellites up there. There's balloons.
Wow.
It's all BS, man. Like everybody wants Elon Musk. You got to watch out for him. He's giving you electric cars, and electric cars are blowing up. Don't go near seawater if you're driving through it. It's going to blow up on you. Electric cars, when they hit you, because they're twice the size and twice the weight, they kill more people when they have accidents. Electric cars essentially give the control over to the deep state. Because all they have to do is shut down the grid and you're done. Everybody is, they're going to hate me after this, or they're going to actually end up, freeing themselves. Because, like I said, everything that I've been saying to people, I don't do just lightly. I have to look into it and look at the potential of it and look at what it means when they begin to put out information. What are we doing with electric cars? What are electric cars doing right now? Electric cars are pulling on a grid. Where are they getting the juice to actually charge it? They're getting the juice to charge it from these places where they have coal facilities. You have to shovel coal facilities in order to make the electricity. So you still have to deal with what they. And the thing is, they found out that gas engines essentially only give one something like 6% of the pollution. The factories and other industries that have nothing to do with the gas powered engines. Everything they're telling you is a lie. Everything is actually about control. You giving up more and more of your freedom and you being fascinated like the spider and the fly, bringing you in, bringing you in. Just get rid of your gas engines. It's all about sustainability. That nonsense they keep pushing at you. There's no sustainability. They're taking over. They want everything that you own, including you.
Doc, let me ask you,
Mhm.
because I know, knowing you for all these years, you used to be into some heavy duty spirituality back in the day. I mean, the sun gazing and the magic, all you. I mean, you used to do all types of stuff.
Yeah,
I want to know.
still do.
Indeed, that's powerful.
Yeah.
What have you ever got into? And I'm asking you this because of the conversation that's all over about the CIA and remote viewing.
Yeah.
So, have you ever done remote viewing, Dr. Valentine?
Well, I've done remote viewing, not getting together with anybody to find anything. I've gone and visited people. People told me I've come in their dreams. All I have to do is think hard enough. And my sister called me. I was thinking about you. I said, that's because I was thinking about you. She said, what do you mean? You were sleeping? I said, no, I just thought about you. And I put that energy out of you. I kept a picture of yourself, of you in there in my mind. And then if you can get 4 and 5 people, I mean, this is not new. They called it voodoo at the last time. They called it voodoo before. These Europeans are going back to the original technology. The CIA knew about remote viewing. They did that to your boy who, the lawyer who defended O.J. Simpson.
Johnny
That's
Cochran?
how, yeah, Johnny Cochran. That's how they killed him.
Do remote viewing?
Yeah, remote viewing with a heart attack. You see, so yeah, I've done sun gazing. We were done doing sun gazing, like you said, back in the '80s, and also tree hugging, or actually tree. We're doing tree calms. We're doing calms with trees. In other words, there are certain places. Once you understand how to use the pendulum, there's a part of the tree that has a portal,
Mm.
and that
Yeah.
portal gives off a certain amount of energy. And what you do is you find the portal and
Hmm.
you take a certain gauge of copper and you
Hmm.
put it around the side of your head and you twist it around the first eye or the pineal first eye, and you sit there and contemplate. And my students have said that once they got into it and got into the meditation, they were actually looking, their eyes began to look around and they saw the tree give off memories of what it was 50 and 60 years ago. This is, and why would they lie to me? They would tell me what was over there. We did this in not Prospect Park, but in the gardens, the botanical gardens.
Mm.
And they were saying, well, no, this wasn't here. This was a thing here. And they were telling me based upon what the tree was telling, because these are old trees. They were telling everybody once we had finished done the meditation, what it is they were seeing. And what was over there, and I said, well, you know what? You got to verify that. Go
Mm,
in there to the museum and go check it out. And I know one woman did, and she was right.
right. Wow.
Yeah. So I will say to you, my brother, a lot of people are going to be coming with a lot of theories. The one theory that you have to understand that is not a theory, it's a theorem, is that everything is based on your consciousness and your perception and who rules access to it.
Mm,
And what I'm going to show in the coming month for the coronation, if you understand what I mean, um, that we're going to get deep into metaphysics, spirituality, and what you need to do to strengthen yourself for the time to come. But you're going to be assailed physically because they have to break you down in your bloodstream. Your blood is a liquid crystal, as you heard me say many times, and it's a conveyor of consciousness. But whatever it is that they're putting into the foods and the system is to obstruct and distort the signal carrying components of your bloodstream. And the signal carriers are what your cells have been programmed with to consciously grow and to consciously feed you. And it's a kind of an exchange. You get it from outside in the sunshine, you get it from inside in the blood that has actually qualified what the blood has gotten from the sun. So, again, people, listen to what they have to say, but do not become fascinated because they're weaving tales that they're never ever going to going to actually share with you in their advancement. Everything they're going to give you is to make you feel good about what they're doing, but everything they're doing in the dark ops is to make sure that control and power and control is what they're actually going to.
you know, one of the things that has been a little confusing during this journey, my spiritual journey, Doc,
Yeah.
is when it comes to taking care of the avatar and things that I hear a lot of the people say that I interview. They all talk about the importance of the diet. Whether it's yourself, Dr. Sabi, Dr. Africa, many of the health speakers, talk about the importance of a diet, and that raises your frequency. What I've noticed, though, you hear people say things, then you have actual life experience. I was just talking to a gentleman the other day. This dude, he don't just eat turkey, he don't just eat fish, he don't just eat beef. He eat pork. I mean, pork ass, pork everything. When I say he can barely speak English, when I say the brother's tapped in, I mean he's tapped in. I
Mhm.
mean tapped into the spirit. He's from Honduras. Mr. G know the brother. Mr. That's Dr. Sabi's one of his old cameramen or whatever. And not just him. I remember my sister that I used to deal with, a psychic sister. She used to give me readings when I was in my 20s, and she didn't have the best diet, but she was totally tapped in. Cigarettes, cigars, all these spiritual people, they always smoking some shit, drinking
Mhm.
something, smoking something. They always doing some shit like that. And I'm like, wait a minute. These guys over here is telling me, oh, the vessel, and I got to eat these greens. And these people, the people that's tapping in, smoking cigarettes, cigars, and they got their spirits flowing. And this dude eating some pork and shit like that, telling me shit I ain't never heard from somebody else. So it gets a little confusing with
Mhm.
in terms of tapping into the spirituality, because these people don't have the best diets, but they are tapped in more than the people I know that have great diets. So,
Mhm.
how much of effect does our diet have to do with us tapping into our spirituality, Doc?
Well, let's look at the word diet. How do you spell it?
D die DIE T.
Yeah. Okay. So they give you the word die, and then they put a cross at the end. So you're eating essentially the diet is nothing more than a grave. Okay.
Yeah,
So some people have high constitutions, and people who eat the way they do, like you said, live in certain environments, not in a city like this, not in
right.
poisonous environments. If they're smoking, most of them are usually out in the woods. There's someplace where there is a an exchange. The body can actually adapt to that. Remember, the body adapts. The first time they sucked in that smoke and they were coughing and their head was hurting and their eyes got all bloodshot. But the body is tolerant. Over a period of time, you can abuse your body to the point where the body will accommodate. If you have somebody who is a heroin addict, heroin addict for 5 or 6 years, you stop that person giving them heroin, what happens?
He dies.
Yeah, they go through all kinds of withdrawal, pain, sickness, and as soon as you give them that heroin, they're back to normal again. So the body adopts the poison. That's no big thing. An incredible instrument of adaptation. So anybody smoking and so forth, yeah, they can accelerate. Possibly the drug itself is giving them a hyper attention span. So yeah, and pork, if you're eating the pork, that's going to be a short period of time. Yeah, you could be living and yeah, you could be very highly spiritual and taking your pork, but that's going to take a toll later on down the line. You can't mess with Mother Nature. And Mother Nature knows exactly what it is that she works with best. As far as greens are concerned and fruits are concerned, your body does not need to amplify or to overemphasize the digestive process. And there's an exchange when you eat something natural. When you eat something unnatural, what you get is irritation and stimulation. You don't get nutrition. That's why we don't use the word diet here. We use renutrition. We give a renewal process to the body when we eat particular foods. So when you eat certain foods, like when we take the Juice Plus, that's pure fruits, vegetables, berries that are concentrated in such a way that they do not lose the efficacy, the nutritional efficacy. But when you start eating foods that are dead from the beginning, you're putting cadavers in your system constantly. Anybody who lives off cadavers are actually living off of the life force energy that their body got when they were born. And you get a certain amount only. So you keep eating foods that's dead, it's going to keep ripping you off from the vital force in order for you to digest and break it down. But if you eat something that's alive, you don't have an addiction for a live thing. You don't get a Jones for an apple. But you will get a Jones for ice cream. You'll get a Jones for them fried chicken as soon as you smell it. Why? Because the body creates appetites for things that are toxic in their bodies. Because once you eat certain foods, it robs you of your vital force. You give up and you get nothing back except the agitation of the cells. And you get older faster. People who eat certain types of foods and they exercise, yes, but they don't overdo in their exercise like I see people doing today. Like somehow staying in the gym and going through your ancestors lived to 150, 200 years. They ain't running up and down the side of no goddamn hill. It's ridiculous what we're doing. We're following this European. He has to do that. He needs the agitation to stay afloat. Remember, melanin is the mellow molecule. All of our teachers taught us that. Why you think this European, every scene you see him in Hollywood, he got to open up the scene drinking some kind of liquor? Because that's the way that he can transport oxygen.
Yo, I always noticed that in the movies, yo.
Yes, why?
They
Because
drink all the time.
Yes, why? He needs that alcohol to break down and to get his body to start transporting oxygen. You don't need that. That's why the Native Americans, when they came here and they started giving them that liquor, they were done. Their bodies weren't ready for that. The European can take more liquor.
Doc, that's crazy, yo. You could go to some of their neighborhoods and there's 5 bars on the block. I'm like, why do they need all of these bars on one block? A bar here, bar. It's crazy, yo.
Lifeline, brother, lifeline.
Wow.
You have to understand, we have adopted toxic thinking and a toxic way of life, period. And so, yeah, if we're eating pork and you're smoking cigarettes and You got a big cigar and so forth. That was essentially a kind of a segue instrument. It was like, what you use, like they use wands and so forth. We had different ways for us to get into the mood and so forth. Smoke
Okay.
was used
Right,
to
right.
smudge the area and all that. Yeah, we did all these little things, but we accessed we lived in the mountains where the trees would give us back proper nutrition,
Mhm,
you see, and the air would be clean.
mhm,
Today, yeah,
mhm.
tell me about eating pork today.
Man, listen, I want to take this time. We just hit the 4,000 mark. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I know y'all enjoyed this conversation is popping. I know y'all enjoyed this conversation. This conversation is popping. I don't front y'all. Doc is going in. But listen, the real deal is happening on January 19th. It's called Countdown 2030. I want y'all to go. The link is actually pinned at the top of the chat. It's in the description. And King Simon is sharing it in the chat. So there's no way you can miss the link if you are interested in hearing more information that Doc is dropping tonight. I mean, when the brother go in, he go in on these webinars. So it might be about 8 hours or something like that. But it's going down January 19th. There's 4,000 people in here. I want all of y'all to check it out if y'all can. Going into this 9-year 2025, I'm absolutely sure that, oh man, it's going to be an absolutely amazing webinar. Doc, I noticed on the flyer, you got like this evil looking entity in red, and he looked like he got on like a hat that the Pope be wearing.
I'm
So,
on.
so what's the deal with the Pope? And they saying these what these portal? What the hell happened? What was
Oh,
it? The portals? He opened up 5 portals or
yeah,
something.
he opened up. Yeah, this was this as a ritual. They open up these doors that essentially give you access to these portals of knowledge. It's just crap. They're just going to give you. They cleared out what they don't want you to see already before they did that. Trust me. They have archives that it's at least 10 miles of archives underneath the grounds
Yeah,
that belong to all of us, and they know exactly what time it is because they're the ones who created the entire spectrum of education that you're dealing with right now came out of the Vatican. So anybody start talking to me about what it is that the European and Western civilization is learning, every book that Western civilization uses in their education system has to be edited through the Vatican first.
right.
Okay, and they're the ones who actually, in order to take over the mindset of the people they conquered, they're the ones who introduced the globe Earth.
The
See,
Vatican,
your
you say?
Vatican was the one. They're the ones who kept telling you that you are, and this Neil deGrasse Tyson, him, all of them, they're all agents. They're all 33rd degrees. They're all people who are there who are under the P2 Masonic order, not the original Masonic order coming out of Kemet.
Right,
P2
right,
Masonic order is under the Illuminati
right.
and
What
the Ignabula.
what did because I haven't did an interview. We haven't talked for a while, and that's why I'm sure the family's so excited for tonight and also for this webinar that's coming up. But I haven't talked to you since Trump got so-called elected, selected, whatever you want to call it. But I haven't
Mhm.
had the opportunity to even ask you about what went down. A lot of people were surprised. People thought Kamala was going to win. Even if she lost, they didn't think she was going to lose the way she lost. It was like complete domination. And people were just shocked. They were amazed. They didn't know Trump. They say Trump got the popular vote and the electoral vote. What happened is what's going on behind the scenes with Trump right now and these societies that you be talking about, Doc?
Well, let me say to you, beloved brother, first of all, the last 4 years was planned.
Yeah.
He was supposed to lose. Why? He needed the excuse to maintain the aura of him being the peacemaker. Meanwhile, Israel essentially is wagging the dog. So they needed permission to do what they're doing in Gaza. And everybody's talking about it, so you don't have to worry about them messing with you.
Oh no. My channel different. I don't want to talk about that, Doc.
But I'm just saying, but this is part of it when we start talking about Trump. I'm going to try to mask it a little bit. The main thing is that Trump was supposed to lose in 2020. That way, it opened up the people who, the warmongers who wanted to go to war. They gave that, allowed that to happen. They allowed the I guess Pentagon and the military industrial complex to vent with all the new weaponry they had to test it because they're going to be using it on the citizenry. So they had to test it. They tested it in Ukraine, and they're checking out all the different places where they have laboratories and the whole 9 yards. This last 4 years was supposed to happen. You're supposed to see that they put an idiot in there, the doting idiot, and they put a woman who Judge Joe Brown said was the most incompetent person that was ever put into office. So why would you put the most incompetent person in office and run for president? Whereas, by the way, she was not actually selected democratically. She was appointed to that position,
Right, right.
which essentially tells me that we don't have a government. If somebody could start, you might as well be, like Idi Amin Dada. My son will be ruling from now on. So in order for Biden, he cuts a deal to exonerate everybody because he knows Trump is coming after them for coming after him. So he says, "No, I'm gonna pardon everybody." Oh well, maybe Trump said, that's a good idea. So I don't have to be the one that looks like the bad guy. You're looking at a game. You're looking at essentially a script being written in front of you. You're watching a play.
Mm.
They say, "Oh damn, well, he just got shot." Yeah, did he? Yes, he did. Well, that air seemed to have healed up real quick. So I'm saying, don't believe everything that you see as the hype. I like Trump because he got swagger. He's New York. You know how we New Yorkers do. We got swag. He's got that, and that's what they're using on the people. But his backroom politics that we can't discuss here, which I'm going to discuss on the 19th. That's going to blow your mind when you see what I'm saying.
Oh shit.
It's not what you think it is, my friend. It's not what you think it is. We are in for some shit, pardon my French, between these next 5 years. And if we are not prepared properly, personally, don't be watching for your government to do any damn thing for you. Make sure that you are personally ready with water, food, people that you can actually go to, that you can count on, network, protect your electronics, protect yourself if you have weapons, and so forth. But teach your own children and get off that grid with the education system, because the education system, as I call it, a deducation system, that system does not teach your children to think individually and independently. It does not foster critical thinking. They deal with collectivized thinking. And that is essentially how you think when you get in line and you're on the TikToks and so forth. You learn a lot, but they're keeping you. There's so much information out there. That's the problem, that you don't know what to look at and get the truth from. And that's what you and everybody, and Brother King Simon and Hank and we are actually siphoning out the bullshit and trying to give people a concentrated volume of information for people to understand what really the time is. Because they're going to distract us. It's all about science fiction. Oh, get ready! It's blue beam. Oh, they got drones. Oh, look at that, and people taking pictures. All of that is distraction. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. While they got you distracted on drones, they're seeding the air and your food supply, and they're doing things that I'm going to show you. That's an if boy, I can't get into it. But
Man, you
that,
got us hype. You got us hype, dog. Come
well,
on.
you have no idea. Ask my, you could ask my, you could ask my empress. When
Yeah.
I finished doing the research to put the information down, and you know what I do. The reason why I put a whole lot of pictures together with the narrative is to immerse you in the narrative, because
Yeah.
we're caught up in audio visual. Just putting words across there bores the hell out of people after a while. But creatively putting pictures to match the narrative keeps the attention of the people. But when in doing the dark web, different types of analysis to pull this information out, it is the most depressing thing that anybody, once you start walking around, it's like being in a sewer too long. When you come out, you can't be smelling like Yves Saint Laurent. And
Mm,
that happens. Your brain, your mind begins to stink.
mm,
You see what I'm saying? You go in there and you're reading and you're looking at these pictures and you're seeing what these evil bitches, these sons of bitches, are doing to children, and what they're doing to people, the lack of empathy, the demonic purpose that these people have, and what they're doing right now to distract you looking up while they're down on the ground doing all kinds of stuff. And then when you're reading what they're doing, and you got to stop for a moment, and that's what's left in your brain. There's a stink in your brain that would be a stink on your body if you were in the sewer, because that's where you were mentally and psychologically, which is why I call the subtitle to my lecture is The Psychology of Believable Lies,
mm.
because that's what you are. You're believing lies. And there's a psychology in the believable lies. There's a way to get you to deal with what we call synthetic synchronicity. This is what I teach in my university. Synthetic synchronicity is them setting up or synchronizing what you should be expecting because you're being preemptively given information in your mind. You're being given it into the news, in the movies, in your music. You're preemptively being given that. So when they begin to synchronize the way they want your reality to end up at the end, you're saying, well, yeah, of course. This was here, so that had to be there. No, they artificially put that there to actually steer you over there. And that's what I do in my university, teach people how to not be caught up in the steering program, how they get your mind to look at things and believe it. That's why the subtitle is called The Psychology of Believable Lies. You will be able, after this lecture, after this webinar, to see the lie as it's being spoken to you.
Doc, got a question based on that subtitle. Amazing subtitle, by the way. Psychology of Believable Lies. Us knowing that this is an energy hologram,
Yeah.
whether you want to call it Maya like the ancients, or whether you want to call it the Matrix like people in modern times call it, isn't everything a lie? And it just depends on what you choose to believe in.
Yeah. Yeah. If you believe in yourself, that's what they say. Know thyself. It was over the top of all of the Kemeter U's temples. Know thyself. Everything is illusion. Everything that we deal with is temporal. Everything that we could touch is temporal. Everything that our senses actually are in contact with is temporal. What's infinite and eternal is within you. It sits in your heart, and that's your soul. And that even that can be lost, but it don't belong to you. These people who go up there and they go and they get their music and they think they're selling their soul. They ain't selling their soul. It don't belong to you. How can you sell something that don't belong to you? You can give it away. You can use your own entitled energies and say, hey, you know what? I want to be a superstar. So let me go ahead and sacrifice this person, one of my family members, because they say that's what I need to do in order to make it big time. Who said that? The people who's running the music business, the entertainment business, politics. Let's go back and find out who does that. We're going to find out. But if you have to sacrifice your soul to achieve something temporal and temporary, what does that mean? What about, who are you? What are you? What have you become? How desperate because you don't know who you are and what you are, especially what you are.
Indeed. Yeah. I'm gonna do about 3 questions from the chat. Then we're gonna get out of here. He's not giving away too much game tonight. Y'all got to sign up for the webinar for that. Once again, it's pinned at the top of the chat. Also, King Simon is sharing the link. He's sharing Doc's PayPal, website, contact info, email. King Simon sharing it all in the chat. Shout out to King Simon. But give me 3 questions from the chat. I think I got I got some so go ahead, Doc. What you want to say?
All I wanted to do was my empress asked me to give the people, the family, a chance to be able to deal with a 25-day program. And my wife is on Facebook, Dr. Nalani Valentine. It's called Reset 25. And this 25-day program, the details for that would be on her Facebook uh, uh, post. So just to make sure that people want to start the year off properly and to get into the products that we feel, there's only really two products that we really recommend because of what it has done for us. Please be sure to go up on her Facebook page and witness and have a participation in her Reset 25 program, the 25-day program. And I think that everyone who has been following her knows that she's a survivor and what she survived in order to be here, to stay here. She's a hero. So you're going to get the best of best information from her. The other thing is to that if you're going to, call the 800 number, please be sure to say your your numbers twice and say it slowly so we can understand and understand what you're saying so we can get back to you. We do want to respond to you. And for those of you who are willing to join my university, where I can really get deep with you personally, one to one, you can go to the uksnow.org and you can sign up where it says registration. Just put in the big box that you are looking to join. I think I'll be doing a spring semester coming up sometime in maybe in April, March or April. For those of you who are interested, and that's pretty much it.
Indeed. All right, let's get to yeah, I ran across something real quick, Doc, before we get to the
What happened?
question. Dr. Drew Pookrum. I got one of her ebooks on my on this thing I got. And
Yeah.
this is pretty interesting. This is an old book she got. Vitamins and minerals from A to Z with ethno consciousness. And I had something highlighted, so I was like, let me share this with Doc real quick. She says, genetically, we are like the set of keys on a standard piano keyboard. Each one of us plays our genes uniquely, thus creating a different melody of appearances, talents, and art forms of expressions physically, and yet the gene pool, genome remains the same. Just as Chopin, Stevie Wonder, and Alicia Keys create beautiful music on the same piano keyboard, we create the same incredible diversity genetically within our standard gene pool. We are all one. We are all kindred. I'm gonna end it there. That's interesting. Comparing like I guess our genetics to piano keys, and we're playing different keys and making different music. I just thought that was cool. What you think about that, Doc?
Well, we're all sound. We're
Yeah,
all basically, we're we're actually light and sound mixed
yeah.
together. We're sonoluminescent beings.
Mm,
Like sonoluminescence, if you saw when they tried to in Operation Fishbowl, when they
mm,
tried to nuke the dome, and um, you looked at when they hit the dome.
mm,
If you were to look at sonoluminescence when they shoot a laser into water, the same type of almost like what water would be as a crystal, it
mm,
hit that. And the same thing happened when Musk sent his rocket up. It hit the dome and slid off the dome, and it looked like the wake of water.
Oh shit.
Yeah, see, I keep telling y'all
Oh.
that we are in a that we are under a compressed hydrogen dome. In fact, about two people from MIT called me up and said, "How did you know that? That was very interesting. Something to think about." And this is MIT.
Damn. Wow. Let's
Yeah,
get
well,
to
I just talked about it. Come on.
let's get to a couple of these questions. Doc saying some shit tonight, y'all. He's saying some yeah, make sure you'll sign up for that workshop. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. Somebody said, Dr. Valentine, what do you think about Trump mentioning Canada becoming the 51st state?
All of North America is going to come back to us eventually. It was North America before it was Canada. The British made it what that is, and they separated it again. We're the ones who carved out away from the British. In fact, we were the first to create the 13 colonies, not this European. He came over. He was essentially the workers that took over. They jumped. They snatched the original Constitution away from us and gave us the municipal constitution, which essentially came from Washington, D.C. And then we got the territorial constitution, which came out of Buckingham Palace. The de jure constitution, which is what we wrote, and the Declaration of Independence, what we call that Declaration of Independence, that all of that was us. The Six Nation Confederacy and the Haudenosaunee that we wrote, all of that was coming from us. So Canada, all of that was one territory, one North American territory, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it, that the Canadians have this, I guess, this autonomy that they want someone like Trump and what Trump says, and they got somebody in their parliament that has been dealing with Castro's son, and it looks like he's not going to be prime minister much longer.
Okay. Somebody shout to whoever sent the super chat. Do you think our real prime of our life is the last 20 years of our life versus sitting around waiting to die? Dr. Phil, the only one, stay with new info.
Well, it depends. Life is exactly in the living of it, what you're thinking of at that particular time.
Yeah.
If you essentially want to sit around, because there was a story of Laotse or Confucius who had a student that didn't do a damn thing except lay around in a hammock all day, and the other students complained to the master that he didn't do anything. And the master said, "Yes, he is. He's doing what he does and does it well, and
Mm.
he knows how to not do." And so when he does get up, he works all day. He doesn't stop. Boom, and then he gets back into the hammock. And then you don't see him for another 2 or 3 days. He just lays there rocking in the hammock. But I said it's whatever your soul chooses, because whatever you do, it is not here. Everybody says, live your life now. Do whatever you need to do. Get all the feelings and everything you want. But then if you create the karma, you're coming back. If you choose to come back, you'll come back. This is eternal. That, remember, I always said to you, there was never a time that man was not.
Mm-hmm.
As the Most High existed, so did its conceptualization of itself as man.
That one may be a little confusing, Doc,
Okay,
because
okay, yeah, because you still say that, you think you've been taught that we came out of the water as a slug and decided to grow hands and feet and walk up like a monkey. We went from being a fish. The fish decided to have legs, and we walked up from an ape, stood upright, came out of trees, and became man. No, no. There was never a time that this particular design, this avatar, did not exist in some form that was in its perfect space with the intelligence that connected it directly to God. So you understand that When you become a man, this is what the European is so afraid of. His creation and his evolution is dependent upon what he steals and steals and steals and rips off and takes and takes. Look at what he is. No religion. He didn't create any religion. He had myths that came from what we taught. He developed himself around what it is as far as science is concerned. Everything that we've done, we've enriched his life. And now, you think because he's got a little rhythm that his woman, if you look at his women back in the day in Hollywood, they had no damn ass. They were flat as boards. Now they got poked out there looking like Hottentot booty and yeah, they just take every damn thing that we have done and made us believe that somehow we are benefiting from them when they are consistently benefiting from us. So we have to take that part of ourselves back. We have to stop depending on him to guide us. And look, have you gone over there and looked at what the WEF or the World Economic Forum looks like? You see any black people in there? And if they are, they only Man Friday or Aunt Jemima. The only person look like he's doing anything, but you got to watch out because Russia's in there. Is Torre? What's his name? Ibrahim Traore. Traore, I believe his name is, from Burkina Faso. He's the new. There we are, Mama and I with great Verdine White of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Friend.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Then did you do that with the camera or did it? Because
no.
Oh, your camera just went out. Then I don't know.
Can you see me? Oh yeah, but no, I guess they hate me. Can you see? Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you great, but we just can't see you. Okay, there you go.
Okay. They shut off by itself.
Okay. Right? Okay. Doc, let me ask you this, Doc. The Earth goes through cycles, and you say there's never been a time where man has not been. Like you mentioned earlier, this being a movie or a stage or something like that. If this is a movie, Doc, and the bad guys, some people I think they say Elijah. Somebody said that the Europeans been around for no longer than 8,000 years. If they're playing the bad guy during this Kali Yuga, who was the bad guy 3 Kali Yugas ago? Does he resurface every Kali Yuga, or do we have a new bad guy that pops up on the scene to make this shit an interesting movie? Who was the last bad guy, Doc?
There you go, us.
Ooh,
us.
When
we started doing what he's doing, experiment.
Right.
See what I'm saying? When you weren't satisfied that you were already God. It's I said something to my wife. I said, God creates man, and then when man is sophisticated enough, man creates God.
Whew. There you go.
Look around you. We're building edifices to what? Myths. This Jesus Christ dude, who is he? Well, he came down from heaven, a great white man with a beard, had a son through what? An angel? The angel came down and did the do-wop-a-diddy with her? Because the real story was that when Joseph went to the so-called house to get a wife, she was already pregnant.
Right.
And she was supposedly pregnant by one of the Roman soldiers. That's a story you ain't never heard of, did you?
No.
Right. Well, see, we just left. What happened? 25th? What most people don't know. What happened? We didn't go. The sun does a spin. I keep telling you. It spins ahead above us, right? As it's spinning above us, it goes from the part where we are in the north, the Tropic of Cancer, and then it widens and then ends up down at the Tropic of Capricorn. Back then, when the sun was at the 21st of this month, on the 21st of this month, it stopped its travels down towards the end of the dome. What did it do? It stopped. And like every day from the 21st of June, it starts going back and widening its circle and going further south, further south, further south. It stops going further south on the 21st of December. It just stays there and it rotates around for 3 days. At the end of 3 days, on the 25th, it then starts its movement right back up to the north. Now, what our ancestors did was, after watching it for 25,000 years, we said, well, let's just, our science is about being natural. Let's just weave a story around it. We have a savior. It's going down into the crypt, or it's in the manger, or it's there in the tomb. It stays down there for 3 days and then rises again. But let's weave that together not only with his death, but with his life. So on the 21st, it stops. And for 3 days, it just stays there. It doesn't go any further south. On the 25th, all of a sudden, as the Virgo, the sign, is rising, and as Perseus, which is the angel they talked about, is showing the way to the three wise men, which is the three stars of Sirius, we weave that into a big story that the white man says, oh, look at the Virgin Mary, Virgo, gives birth to the Son of God, and the Son now rises out of the crypt after 3 days being dead. Now, being dead can also be that the sun is at its weakest, because what? What happens? Your days are real short. Your nights are longer. It means that whatever's happening with it, the sun is at its weakest. So as it's coming up, the angel, which is Perseus, is pointing the way for the sun to actually start its journey back up. And of course, the three wise men come on the 25th. It's pointing the three wise men to the manger, which is essentially where the sun now is born again. It's all bullshit. It's all what we call astrotheology. It is we dealing with the signs, the script that the Most High gave us, the hieroglyphics of the sky that our ancestors interpreted into story form, that these jackasses made into a religion.
Doc, so you were talking about flat Earth earlier, and I see your shirt. What your shirt say? Class of flat Earth. I got a question for you, Doc. I got a question.
No, they're not flat Earth. I use flat Earth to get your attention. It's flat plane.
Flat plane, indeed. All right, so we all know King Simon, Lord Strayhorn. They deal with astrology, numerology. We know all about a lot of astrologists and numerologists who are great at what they do. Now, their science is based on, I'm assuming, the world being round. They are not flat earthers. They are just this science that came about, that this Western astrology, the whole flat plane, flat earth thing, it wasn't even around. It wasn't going on when astrology and when they made this. So how can their science be so exact? What King Simon tells me, if he's not even basing it on this flat earth concept. If the flat earth thing was real, Doc, wouldn't flat earth's astrology be different from what we traditionally get in Western astrology? Wouldn't they contradict each other?
Great question. No, you're thinking that they are looking at, their science is looking at a spinning ball. You're not thinking about a spinning dome.
Whoa, wait. What you said? Wait. What you talking about, Doc? Doc, what you talking about? Nah, see, y'all go too far with this shit now. Spin it, dome. Doc, come on, man. What you talking about?
Yeah. Why don't you do this? Do this when you get the chance, because there's a lot of photographers that's been doing this. Yeah. What you do is you take a camera and just take a picture at a very clear night sky. And then watch what you do when you speed it back up. Because the movement of the dome is very slow in accordance with our own perspective. When you speed it up, you will see that the stars are moving in a circle, not you.
Mm.
So when they read it positioned itself at a certain place and certain time, yeah, they're accurate, but it's not from a ball earth. They're just reading what essentially came into view. And they do numerologically because mathematics is everything. Mathematics in my school is ma'at hermetics,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not mathematics. Mathematics is the bastardized version. It's ma'at hermetics. Hermetics being the science and ma'at being the balance of science, using science to balance perception. And
Mm.
math and numbers is everything. Just like geometry, geometry is dealing with the land, it's Greek, and metry meaning the analysis and giving a specific metric or measurement of the earth. Well, Jehudi was the one who taught them that. That's where the geometry came from.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
All of that is in my new book.
Excellent, man. Wow. Last, somebody wants to know if they work on the 19th. Is there a replay?
I'm not sure. It depends on who shows up. If it's a good, if it's not a good, um, you know, because I put a lot into this. This is like 3 months work that
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting into this. This was
Mm-hmm.
planned back in what is it, September,
Mm-hmm.
and I started the work. Hopefully, yeah. If I mean, yeah, I can do another show with you, say in February,
Mm-hmm.
and King Simon, and then if I do see that there's another interest in what I've done, then by all means, because it takes a lot to do what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing, but it exhausts me. I need a few days rest after
Indeed.
that.
Doc, listen. I know you got a lot to talk about on the 19th. When you're going to come on here again before the 19th.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate your time today. Absolutely amazing show. I haven't talked to you in a while
Yes, sir.
on the show. So absolutely a pleasure having you on here once again, Doc.
Thank
Once
you.
again, before we get out of here, tell the people your school, anything you got coming up, the workshop, everything, just in case. We still got about 4,400 people in here. So they may be, some of them may came in a little late, Doc. Fill us in before we get out of here, my brother.
Well, first of all, welcome to everyone. Please, would love to see you at the gathering. Countdown 2030, and I see 2025, 26, 27, and you look at 29, it looks very obscure because most people don't know what's getting ready to go down. We're going to prepare you for that. And there it is. I said, now, when the truth is revealed, it's going to happen like this: one third will go insane, one third will definitely unalive themselves. And they're not unalive, don't mean they're just going to put one in their heads. They can unalive themselves by withdrawing.
Mm,
But then that last third, they will attain enlightenment. Which one will you be? And
mm,
again, the subtitle to Countdown 2030 is The Psychology of Believable Lies and how you can actually recognize them when they are being spoken to you. And you see off to the left, you see behind this demonic figure all the people that's playing the game that is the contrary, that is the adversary's game. All to the right, you see all the people that are contradicting that and the people that you should be listening to and taking your attention and your children's attention to. Now, also, if you want any services, the 800 number is 800-847-1291, 847-1291, and that's 800. If you wish to give a gift, our gift giving repository would be our PayPal, and that's kemitearth at gmail.com, KEMET earth, EARTH at gmail.com. Please put down friends or family because they like to tax you if you're doing business through PayPal. The other thing is that if you can, please check with my wife's program on Facebook to her, Dr. Nalani, uh, to Reset 25, it's called. And it's a 25-day program that she and a number of other people in her circle of natural healers are going to be actually sponsoring for people. So, and that being the case, also call for what we have as far as our our, our Juice Plus and Unicity and the things that we usually use and help people with. We do consultations. I do metaphysical consultations called biopsychic analysis, as well as relationship consultations. And again, congratulations to you and your Empress for that beautiful baby and the children that you're raising, the future you're raising. Boy, they're coming in. They chose some serious parents to come through. Happy.
Hey Doc, I appreciate you as always, my brother. Enjoy the rest of the year, and I will see you back on here before the 19th. We're gonna make
Yes,
sure
sir.
we're gonna talk to the people one last time to remind them. But family, a magnificent show. With that being said, Doc, enjoy the rest of your night, family. I will see you tomorrow. I think Wesley Muhammad's gonna be on tomorrow, y'all. So y'all can tune in tomorrow to hear Dr. Wesley Muhammad. With that being said, get out of here, Doc. Take care, my brother. Peace.